Hey y'all, what's up? It's Dominic here. So, we haven't posted videos in a minute, and I thought I would just get on here real quick. We decided to do a topic this week on everything happening with the pandemic, which I thought was a really good idea because I think we've all been all over the place, and it's important to get on here and talk about. So, the first thing that I wanted to say was I think everyone doesn't know what to say about the pandemic and everything going on, and that's okay. I know for me, myself personally, I've been struggling a lot with my mental health, being at home a lot more. Um, but it's kind of a double edged sword because I've been at home a lot more, which has definitely made me a little more depressed. But other things about it are beneficial. So I get to see my wife a lot more than I used to. I'm eating at home more, so I'm having better meals. Um, I'm not wasting gas, so I'm saving money. So there are benefits of this pandemic and being at home. Um, and I'm thankful for those because they've showed me a new side of work and just a new side of living, which has been really nice. But on the flip side, there has been mental health that I think a lot of people have had to deal with. So I wanted to chat about that real quick. So I've had anxiety and depression for a long time. My anxiety is very much based on what I'm doing. Sometimes it'll come out of nowhere, like anything else. But it's very much something that depends on what I'm doing. So, for instance, I was going to dinner for the first time since all of this COVID happened with my wife's family for her birthday. And the entire day I was anxious because I knew at some point I would have to go out. Um, and that's not a bad thing, and it doesn't always happen. But I was anxious the whole time, and I was just, unsure what was going to happen. It ended up being fine. The night was fine. But I didn't deal with that as much when I was going out on a normal basis. So I definitely think my anxiety has increased because I'm so used to being in the house. Another thing, if like depression comes up, I know a lot of people are struggling with depression right now, and I'm fortunate. I've had bad days. I've even been in a funk, I would say, for a while. But it's not nearly as bad as it has been in the past, so I'm thankful for that. I think it's important when you are struggling with depression. I know from experience that when you're depressed, it's not that you're sad like people say, and it's different for everyone, but from my personal experience, it wasn't that I was sad. I just wasn't feeling anything. I had no motivation. I had no desire to get up and do anything. So I just think it's really important for you to take care of yourself, and if you know you're sad and depressed, making yourself physically get up, even though that's the last thing you want to do, making yourself go out into the world, making yourself do those things that take so much energy, because hopefully at the end of the day you'll be able to pull some joy out of that, or at least say that you did something. Now, that doesn't mean that every day when you wake up, you have to go out and do something, because that's not the case. And sometimes, literally, mental health is all about like taking care of yourself and listening to your body. So, if you absolutely cannot get out of bed that day, then don't get out of bed. You owe yourself that much to take care of yourself, to relax, to do whatever you need to be, or do whatever you need to do to be okay. And that's okay too. But from my personal experience, I know that some days it's okay to lay in bed or lay on the couch and not move, but then there's other days where I physically need to get out because I know that my depression is only getting worse because I'm stuck inside. Another thing my wife and I wouldn't say argue, but definitely debate about is she um, doesn't necessarily realize that she's getting into a funk when she's getting into a funk, and I have to be that person to remind her. So make sure that you're watching out for your friends and your family, checking in on them, making sure they're solid. With her, hers can be as simple as on her day off, she goes into the living room, keeps all the blinds closed, gets a blanket, and just snuggles on the couch for hours. And that's fine and dandy, but when she has multiple days off and that's all she's doing, I see it turning into a pattern. So I have to remind her, like, hey, why don't we open the blinds? Why don't we go for a walk after dinner? Do you want to go to Target? Just anything to get her up and moving. Another thing with her especially, and this is again different, these are just our experiences, but just waking up in the morning and taking a shower. That sounds kind of ridiculous, but even today, I work from home. I do not have to get dressed. I could wear my boxers every day to work. But I found that if I get up and get in the shower, even if I do not want to, that makes me feel better. It makes my day feel more productive. Again, this morning we're having system issues today at work, so I'm not able to work right now. So I was like, well, why not record this video? I'm going to post it today. It's Tuesday, so I'm going to post it tonight. But I'm taking this time to record this video, and I started some laundry. I'm doing some dishes, even though I really don't want to do that. I'd rather be on my couch if we're being honest. But I know that I need to do those things to make myself feel better. So that's all I really wanted to come on here and talk about, was just with the pandemic, mental health is something that we really have to watch out for. I know the numbers. I've seen the numbers for, domestic abuse and suicide and all of that are increasing because of the pandemic. And I wish there was more we can do, and I know there is. But I think the first step is to educate yourself and to educate others on what to look for, and really, put information out there. Hopefully today I can link some stuff for mental health options, counselors, crisis lines, things like that. I'll make sure that I can get those out today if possible. Just making sure we take care of ourselves so we can take care of others, and educate ourselves so we can educate others. With everything going on in the world, that's the last thing we need is, we never need it, but to be losing people we love over something that we need to do better and watch out for, something that could be preventable. So I just wanted to hop on here and say some things about the pandemic. I hope everyone else is doing well. If you guys have any topics that you want us to cover, let us know. We'd be more than glad to. We've kind of taken a break with everything going on, but I think we're going to get back in the swing of things now as things are progressing. We don't really know what's next. I don't think anyone knows what's next because of where we're at. We were on the decline, and now we're on the incline again. More and more cases, especially in like California, Florida, and Texas, which would make sense, but we're seeing more cases there. So I know our governor, I'm in Ohio, our governor is set to have a press conference tomorrow at 5. So today's Tuesday, yeah, tomorrow at 5. So I guess we'll see what happens then, and go from there. But if you all have anything you want us to talk about, let us know. But I thought it was important to get on here and at least address the pandemic. I think that's what the whole Brotherhood channel decided on this week, is we were going to talk about Corona and the pandemic and how that was affecting us. I did go and get tested last week, just because I knew I had plans for my wife's birthday, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't putting anyone at risk. So we all got tested, and we were all negative, which is great. And I would suggest that if you have somewhere in your area, if you have any plans to go anywhere or do anything with people, we're supposed to still be quarantining and following the rules as much as we can. And I know that that's easier said than done. But if you are going to go out, just make sure you're being safe. I hate the idea of wearing a mask. It does make me feel claustrophobic because I do have anxiety, but you can still breathe. And if you do have issues, then maybe reconsider going out. I have a brother who very much is anti-mask, and it's interesting to see his point of view, and I don't think he's doing it to be rude, and it's not that he's uneducated, he just believes what he believes, and that's fine. But when it comes to other people's lives, I think it's important to make sure that you're thinking of others before yourself, and in that case, that's what wearing a mask is doing. You don't know if that kid at the playground has really bad asthma, or you don't know if the couple you're sitting next to at the dinner table has, lung cancer.